Have you ever felt completely paralyzed by a massive goal? You look at your to-do list, see a project that requires weeks of intense work, and your brain immediately shuts down. You end up scrolling through social media for hours, not because you are lazy, but because your brain is literally trying to protect you from stress. This is a biological trap. Today, we are going to dive into a legendary Japanese secret that elite high performers, world-class athletes, and top-tier Silicon Valley CEOs use to bypass this mental block. It is called the Kaizen method, also known as the 60-second principle. It is simple, it is fast, and it is scientifically designed to trick your brain into working without you even realizing it. By the end of this video, you will understand how to rewire your neural pathways to turn procrastination into an automated drive for success. The word Kaizen comes from two fundamental Japanese concepts. Kai means change, and Zen means wisdom or good. Put them together, and you get the philosophy of continuous improvement. This is not about overnight success or grinding until you burn out. In fact, it is the exact opposite. To understand why this is so powerful for the American viewer, we have to look at the history. After the Second World War, Japanese industries were in total ruins. They did not have the capital or the resources for massive sweeping changes. Instead of giving up, they focused on tiny 1% improvements every single day. This philosophy turned companies like Toyota from small, struggling workshops into global giants that redefined reliability. But the real magic happens when you move this philosophy out of the factory and into your own psychology. Think of your brain like a high-tech security system that has been evolving for millions of years. Deep inside your temporal lobes lies the amygdala. This almond-shaped cluster is your brain's alarm system. In the wild, its job was to save your life from predators. When it sensed a threat, it triggered the fight or flight response. The problem is that in the modern world, your amygdala cannot tell the difference between a hungry tiger and a massive work project. When you set a huge, daunting goal, your amygdala sounds the alarm. It sees a massive change as a threat to your current survival and comfort. It floods your system with cortisol, making you feel anxious and overwhelmed. This leads to what psychologists call the amygdala hijack. You lose access to your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain responsible for logic and planning. This is why you cannot just think your way out of procrastination. Your biology is literally blocking your brilliance. The Kaizen method is like a silent ninja that slips past that security system. By committing to just 60 seconds of work, you tell your brain that there is no danger. 1 minute is too small to be scary. It is too short to fail. When the demand is that low, the amygdala stays quiet. It stays asleep. This allows your prefrontal cortex to stay online, giving you the focus you need to actually begin. Most people fail because they try to storm the castle gates with massive effort. Kaizen teaches you to walk through the side door unnoticed. Let us compare this to the standard American hustle culture that we see all over social media. We are constantly told to rise and grind. We are told that if we are not working 18 hours a day, we do not want it bad enough. We see influencers talking about extreme transformations and radical shifts. While that sounds inspiring in a 30-second clip, it is biologically unsustainable for most people. Extreme effort leads to extreme exhaustion. This is why so many people start a New Year resolution with fire in their eyes, only to quit by the third week of January. They tried to change everything at once, triggered a massive stress response, and their brain eventually forced them back to their old habits to find safety. Kaizen is the ultimate productivity hack because it is built for the long game. It understands that a steady stream of water can carve through a mountain, while a flash flood just causes a mess and disappears. Here is exactly how the 60-second method works in practice. You choose a task you have been avoiding, and you commit to doing it for exactly 60 seconds at the exact same time every single day. That is the entire contract. If you want to write a grand novel, you sit down and write for 60 seconds. If you want to get in the best shape of your life, you do push-ups or planks for 60 seconds. If you want to master a new language, you study exactly 3 words or 1 grammar rule. Most people scoff at this because it seems too easy. They think, what can I possibly achieve in 1 minute? But they are missing the point. You are not working on the task, you are working on the habit of starting. Starting is the hardest part of any journey. Once you are in motion, physics takes over, and object in motion stays in motion. When you finish that 1 minute, something incredible happens in your neurochemistry. Your brain releases a small but significant hit of dopamine. Usually we get dopamine from cheap sources like junk food or social media likes. But when you get dopamine from completing a task, you are building a positive feedback loop. You feel a sense of accomplishment because you did what you said you would do. You are no longer a person who procrastinates. You are becoming a person who takes action. Over time, these tiny dopamine hits build a physical bridge in your brain, thickening the neural pathways associated with that activity. This is how you build an elite habit that eventually requires zero willpower. You are not fighting your biology anymore. You are finally working with it. Consider the case of the British cycling team. For nearly 100 years, they were the laughingstock of the cycling world. They had won almost nothing. Then they hired a man named Dave Brailsford, who believed in the doctrine of marginal gains, which is just the Western name for Kaizen. He did not try to make the riders 10% faster overnight. Instead, he looked for 1% improvements in everything. They redesigned the bike seats for slightly better comfort. They even hired a surgeon to teach the riders the best way to wash their hands so they would not get sick. They looked for every tiny advantage. The result? Within a few years, they dominated the Tour de France and broke multiple world records. They did not find a secret weapon. They found 1,000 tiny improvements. This is what you can do with your life using the 60-second rule. Let us look at how you can apply this to your career. If you are an entrepreneur or a creator, you probably have a mountain of administrative work that you hate. Instead of letting it pile up until it becomes a crisis, give it 60 seconds every morning. In a month, you will have 30 minutes of progress. In a year, you will have 5 hours of high-level organization that happened almost invisibly. This method also acts as a total killer of perfectionism. Perfectionism is often just a fancy word for the fear of being judged or the fear of failing. When you give yourself 30 minutes to do a task, you feel the pressure to make those 30 minutes count. You want it to be perfect. But when you only have 60 seconds, you do not have time to worry about being perfect. You only have time to be active. You are forced to bypass your inner critic. This takes the weight off your shoulders and allows you to enter a flow state much faster. You learn through experience that a messy start is always better than a perfect stop. In the fast-paced digital economy of today, the ability to start quickly and iterate is a genuine superpower. One of the most profound effects of Kaizen is how it changes your internal identity. Every time you skip a workout or blow off a project, you are casting a vote for the version of yourself that fails. But when you use the 60-second rule, you start casting votes for a new identity. Even if it is just for 1 minute, you are a writer. Imagine where you could be 12 months from now if you stopped waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect wave of motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are like the weather. But Kaizen is a system. Systems are like the climate. They are predictable and they produce long-term results. Japanese have a deep respect for the concept of mastery. Mastery is not something that is granted to a lucky few. It is earned through the repetition of the mundane. Now let us talk about the trap of the second week. After about 7 days of doing something for 1 minute, you will feel a surge of confidence. Your brain will say, "This is too easy, let us do an hour today. This is a dangerous moment." If you jump from 1 minute to 60 minutes too fast, you risk re-triggering that amygdala alarm. The secret to long-term Kaizen is to increase your time very slowly. Add only 1 or 2 minutes per week. This keeps the growth under the radar of your fear center. As we move forward into an era dominated by artificial intelligence and rapid technological change, your most valuable asset is your ability to learn and adapt. You cannot learn a complex new skill if you are constantly fighting yourself. I want you to take a moment and think about the one thing you have been putting off for months. Visualize that goal for a second. Now strip away all the complexity. What is the smallest 60-second version of that goal? American culture often praises the hero who does the impossible in a moment of crisis. But the real heroes are those who do the small, necessary things when no one is watching. That is where true character is built. In conclusion, the path to a better life is not through a violent revolution of your habits. It is through a peaceful evolution. Use the 60-second rule to bypass your brain's fear center. Focus on the small wins to build your dopamine and your confidence. Reject the burnout culture of the hustle and embrace the sustainable wisdom of the East. The world is moving faster than ever, and it is easy to feel left behind. Take back the clock 60 seconds at a time